You mean 7 too?
No, it's 2, and I am AfriCell 2.
AfriCell 2? Hey, hey!
Yes, 2 is AfriCell 2.
Hey, hey!
AfriCell introduces the new AfriCell series, the number 2.
Welcoming the number 2 to the AfriCell family.
From now on, the AfriCell lines will not only start with the number 7, but also with the number 2.
Get a new AfriCell SIM card now that starts with the number 2.
So now I can get an AfriCell number that starts with the number 2?
Yes, and when you receive a call from a number starting with the number 2, it's one of the new AfriCell lines calling you. My mobile number is 2, and
we are AfriCell 2!
Welcome back. Malian authorities have sent a formal letter to the United Nations requesting for the intervention of a West African military force in Bamako. Mali's Prime Minister Sheikh Modibo Diarra made the plea for international aid to help regain the northern belt of his country, currently captured by Islamist groups. More details in this CFI report.
Malian authorities have sent a letter to the United Nations formally requesting a West African-led military force to help retake the north of the country, which is occupied by Islamist groups. Mali's Prime Minister Sheikh Modibo Diarra has since intensified diplomatic efforts to mobilize support from many different countries. He is counting on Benin's President Thomas Boni Yayi to convince African nations to participate in the operations.
The acting president of the African Union has said that he would make every effort possible to make this happen.
Mali's government is also counting on Western powers for support. U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for the Bureau of African Affairs, Johnny Carson, has promised aid to Mali. And France has offered logistical support as well as intelligence, training, and transportation for troops.
France has the role of the facilitator because we respect the existing borders of Mali, and we want to help the African people, and we do not accept terrorism. What is developing in Mali is a risk for the whole world, and I often speak of Sahelistan. That is the equivalent of Afghanistan in the Sahel.
A high-level meeting on the Sahel region is scheduled for Wednesday on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly in New York. With the support of France and the United States, Mali looks likely to get the okay for international military intervention in the north.
Sovereignty and territorial boundaries are at the center of an escalating dispute between China and Japan over a group of uninhabited islands on the East China Sea. And now another problem has sailed over the controversial events. Michael Holmes explains.
Troubled seas, rising tensions, dozens of fishing boats and a handful of Coast Guard ships from Taiwan sailed into waters surrounding the island chain to renew their claim in the dispute, but were turned away when Japan's Coast Guard fired water cannon on the Taiwan ships. Less than 24 hours earlier, Chinese state television showed footage of 2 of its surveillance ships entering the same seas in what China calls a demonstration of its sovereignty. China and Japan and Taiwan all claim ownership of the islands in the East China Sea. Known as Senkaku to Japan, Diaoyu to China, they're prized for their strategic location, good fishing and potential oil and gas reserves. High-level officials in China and Japan met in Beijing on Tuesday in renewed efforts to cool tensions over the dispute. But after the meeting, China didn't ratchet down its rhetoric.
China absolutely cannot tolerate Japan's unilateral actions of infringing on China's territorial sovereignty. Japan must abandon its illusions, reflect deeply, and correct its mistakes with concrete actions.
Back in Tokyo, the dispute was also a hot topic between Japan's defense minister and his Australian counterpart.
One of the things we have to think of is how to deal with all the ships that are coming from China and Taiwan to the Senkaku, and how to keep Sino-Japanese relations stable and advance them.
At the same time, China's president and premier were on hand for ceremonies as the country formally launched its first aircraft carrier into service. With no end in sight to the island dispute, this show of naval strength could be a worrying sight to China's neighbors. Michael Holmes, CNN.
A dying father in the U.S. state of Michigan wants to see his son once more before he dies. His family is hoping that Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad will make that happen. That's because his son, a former U.S. Marine, is jailed in Iran accused of spying. CNN's Paula Newton has that story.
How much more pain he can take or how much longer he will live. And so he has a plaintive message for the president of Iran.
Please, please, please release an innocent man and reunite him with his father and his mother.
Hekmati recently underwent brain surgery to remove a malignant tumor. He now faces radiation and chemotherapy, but he says his fate lies not with the doctors and treatment, but with the man and the regime that have imprisoned his son.
I hope and pray that I will get to see my son one last time before I go to the other side.
Amir Hekmati is a former Marine, a decorated Iraqi war veteran, born in Arizona and raised in Nebraska and Michigan. Within weeks of setting foot in Iran for the first time in August of last year, he was there to visit his grandmother. He was arrested, interrogated, imprisoned, and after several months,
my name is Amir Mirzai Hekmati,
showcased on Iranian TV as a CIA operative. He has been convicted of espionage and sentenced to death, although he has now been granted a retrial. Hekmati and the U.S. government deny he was ever a spy. Amir Hekmati remains in prison in Iran and has no idea that his father is dying. Dr. Ryan Barrett is the neurosurgeon treating Hekmati's father.
It's stressful enough dealing with this surgery and the diagnosis and the coming treatment. There's no doubt in my mind that any other family or personal issues are going to, make it more challenging.
So with President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad in New York now, the Hekmatis say they are putting themselves at his mercy.
I'm sure that he's going to hear my voice. He's in the United States. He's going to listen to me, hear me. I just want him to hear my voice as a mother. Don't destroy this family. Please don't destroy this family. Bring Amir home. Amir is the heart of this family.
Now facing an incurable cancer, Hekmati says he cannot accept the fact that he may never see his son again.
That's my biggest fear, that I may not see him, and that's my last wish, to see my son and hug him and kiss him before I pass to the other side.
Ahmadinejad has so far refused to meet with the Hekmatis or discuss Amir's case, but somehow this family hopes that what is now a desperate plea will finally be heard. Paula Newton, CNN.
We now take our second break now. Let's now shift our attention to the weather report courtesy of the Central Forecast Office.
Oh yes, you can drive your way there. With the Elton to Mecca Japale Kafo promo, the Hajj is possible. Stay loyal or become a member of the Elton Japale Kafo today and enjoy the double take. Because every time you fill your tank at any of our Elton stations, you get a chance to be in our monthly raffle draw. To take home lots of goodies like gallons of oil, bags of rice, bags of sugar, vehicle accessories, and much more. Plus a chance to become the lucky winner of the Elton to Mecca Japale Kafo fully paid Hajj expenses. Remember, it's a double take. Your single loyalty for the monthly draw and the Elton to Mecca Japale Kafo final draw to be held just before the Hajj. For more information, drop by any of our Elton station. Elton, a new vision of service.